The alien fleet appeared exactly when predicted. 200 massive warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. They were beautiful in a terrible way, dark and sleek, their hulls reflecting starlight. Aboard the command ship, High Executor Virax studied the human defenses with amusement. His screen showed 30 small orbital platforms and a handful of primitive ships. This would be easier than New Sol. Commander Toven failed because he was arrogant, Virax said to his officers. But these humans are still primitives. We will destroy their platforms, then their cities, and then we will move on to their colonies. The Council wants every human dead within a month. His fleet moved forward in perfect formation. The aliens had been conducting these exterminations for 50,000 years. They knew how it would go. The humans would try to fight, fail, and then beg for mercy. There would be no mercy. Admiral Kang watched them come. The alien fleet was moving in a standard attack formation. Textbook perfect. Predictable. They are not even trying to hide, General Choi said from his position in the ground command center. They think we are no threat. Good, Admiral Kang replied. Let them think that. All units, remember the plan. Wait for my signal. The alien fleet reached Earth's orbital zone. Their weapons powered up. Energy beams lanced out, striking the orbital platforms. Explosions bloomed in the darkness of space. The platforms were destroyed in seconds. Virax smiled. Now destroy their ships. The human cruisers suddenly turned and fled, diving toward Earth's atmosphere. They were broadcasting panic messages, their formations breaking apart. It looked like a complete rout. Pursue them, Virax ordered. Do not let them escape. The Council wants no survivors. The alien fleet followed the fleeing human ships into Earth's atmosphere. This was against standard protocol, but Virax was eager to finish the extermination quickly. He wanted to prove he was more efficient than the failed Commander Toven. As the alien ships descended through the clouds, Virax began to notice something wrong. His shields were draining faster than they should. The atmosphere was thicker than expected, creating more friction. And the gravity here was strong, much stronger than his homeworld. His crew was already showing signs of fatigue. Then Admiral Kang gave the signal. All units engage. The sky exploded with human aircraft, thousands of them, rising from hidden positions all over the planet. Fighters, bombers, modified civilian craft, even old atmospheric shuttles equipped with makeshift weapons. They came from every direction at once, swarming the alien fleet. Virax stared in shock. Where had they all come from? His sensors had shown nothing. Earth's magnetic field masked their signatures, his science officer reported. His voice panicked. And our sensors are designed for space combat. In this thick atmosphere, they are not working properly. The human craft attacked like insects swarming a predator. They were small and fast, darting in and out, firing missiles and kinetic weapons. The alien ships tried to target them, but there were too many. For every human craft destroyed, 10 more took its place, and the alien shields were failing. The energy weapons that worked perfectly in space were consuming too much power in the dense atmosphere. One by one, the shields collapsed. A human pilot named Rodriguez dove his fighter straight at an alien warship. His weapons had been destroyed, but his ship still flew. He aimed for the bridge section and did not pull up. The impact was small compared to the massive ship, but it penetrated the hull. Atmosphere rushed out. The alien crew inside died instantly. Rodriguez's sacrifice was replayed across the fleet channels. Hundreds of other pilots saw it and understood. If your weapons fail, become a weapon. The aliens had never faced tactics like this. Species did not sacrifice themselves deliberately. It was illogical. But humans were not logical when their home was threatened. Admiral Kang brought the Indomitable into the fight. Her battle carrier was loaded with a new weapon, kinetic railguns that fired solid metal slugs at incredible speed. In space, energy shields stopped these easily. But in atmosphere, with the alien shields already weakened, the railguns were devastating. She aimed at Virax's command ship and fired. The metal slug punched through the weakened shield and tore through the ship's hull. Virax's ship spun out of control, trailing fire. 8 hours into the battle, the tide had completely turned. Of the 200 alien ships, 70 were destroyed and another 50 were heavily damaged. The aliens tried to retreat back to space, but General Choi had anticipated this. Ground-based EMP weapons fired, filling the atmosphere with electromagnetic pulses. The alien neural implants designed to connect them with their technology became their doom. Pilots collapsed at their controls. Gunners went blind as their optical implants failed. Ships drifted helplessly or crashed into each other. High Executor Virax, his ship burning around him, made one final decision born of rage rather than strategy. If he was going to die, he would take as many humans with him as possible. He ordered his remaining ships to concentrate their fire on East Asia, the most populated region of Earth. Energy beams rained down on cities. Seoul, Tokyo, Shanghai all were hit. Millions of civilians died in seconds. The attacks would have continued, but Admiral Kang had predicted this too. The concentrated alien force flew directly into the heaviest defenses Earth had prepared. Railguns that had been thought obsolete proved their worth, firing from hidden positions in mountains and underground bunkers. At close range, against shields weakened by atmospheric friction, they tore alien ships apart. Fighter wings from 10 countries converged on the alien formation from every direction. The aliens could not target them all, could not defend from every angle. Their formation collapsed. Virax's ship was hit by 3 railgun rounds simultaneously. The ship broke in half. He had time for one last thought before the end. Humans were not supposed to fight like this. This was not how exterminations were supposed to go. Then there was nothing. When dawn broke over a wounded Earth, Admiral Kang stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and looked at the tactical display. Of the 200 alien ships, 187 were destroyed. 11 were captured when their crews surrendered. Only 2 had escaped into faster-than-light travel. The cost had been terrible. 892 human spacecraft destroyed, 4,200 aircraft lost, 18,000 military personnel dead, and the civilian casualties, those cities that Virax had targeted in his final rage, numbered 340,000. But Earth still stood. Humanity had survived. General Choi appeared on her screen. His face was covered in dust and blood from a nearby explosion, but he was smiling. Admiral, ground forces have secured all crashed alien ships. We are taking prisoners. They seem shocked that we are not killing them. We are not them, Admiral Kang said. We fight to survive, not to exterminate. She paused. But the war is not over. Those 2 ships that escaped will report back. The collective will send more. Lieutenant Huang brought her another message, this one from New Seoul. Admiral, it is Lieutenant Kim again. She says it is urgent. Hana's face appeared on the screen. She looked excited despite the exhaustion. Admiral, we captured Commander Tovin and his ship. We have been going through their databases. You need to see this, she transmitted a file. Admiral Kang read it and her blood ran cold. 20,000 years ago, another species from a high-gravity world had challenged the collective. The war had lasted 50 years and cost billions of lives on both sides. The collective had won, but barely. Ever since then, they had been searching for any species from similar death worlds. Earth was such a world. And now that humanity had proven they could fight, the collective would stop at nothing to destroy them. Not because humans had attacked first, but because they were terrified of what humanity might become. They will send their entire armada, Hana said. Every ship they have. This battle was just the beginning. Admiral Kang looked out at Earth, scarred but unbroken. Then she looked at the captured alien ships being towed into orbit. An idea was forming in her mind. A dangerous, audacious idea, Lieutenant Kim, she said slowly. How would you like to take the fight to them? The captured alien ships floated in orbit around Earth, being studied by hundreds of engineers and scientists. Commander Jin Park stood in the hangar bay of one of the larger vessels, looking up at the alien technology with wonder and determination. These ships are incredible, he said to his team. Faster engines, stronger shields, weapons that make ours look like toys. But they were designed for the wrong species. Engineer Mina Song, brought from New Seoul to help with the project, nodded. Everything is sized for being smaller and weaker than humans. The controls are designed for their neural implants. We need to modify everything. How long? Admiral Kang asked. She had come down to inspect the work personally. 2 weeks if we work around the clock, Jin replied. We can make 11 ships operational. The others are too damaged. You have 1 week, Admiral Kang said. The collective will not wait for us to be ready. We need to strike first. In another part of the orbital complex, Dr. Hai Lin was making a different kind of breakthrough. She was a theoretical physicist who had been studying the alien faster-than-light technology. What she discovered changed everything. The alien neural implants limit them, she explained to Admiral Kang. They think it makes them more efficient, connecting their brains directly to their ships, but it actually restricts their mental processing. The implants cannot handle complex calculations as well as a natural human brain can. What does that mean for us? Admiral Kang asked. It means humans can pilot these ships better than the aliens who built them. We tested it. A human pilot using a direct neural link can react faster, calculate more precisely, and adapt to situations more quickly. We can outfly them in their own ships. Admiral Kang felt hope rising in her chest. Good. Because I am going to need the best pilots humanity has for what I am planning. The plan was audacious. Take the 11 captured ships, add the repaired Indomitable, and strike at the Collective's nearest military outpost. Destroy their shipyard before they could launch their response fleet. But to succeed, they needed Hana Kim, Captain Tae Won, recovered from his injuries and promoted, volunteered to lead the mission to New Seoul. He would extract Hana and her best fighters, bringing them to Earth to join the strike force. When Won's ship arrived at New Seoul, he found a colony transformed. The orbital bombardment had scarred the surface, but the people were not defeated. They had adapted. The underground networks were now home to a guerrilla force that had made life hell for the remaining alien occupation troops. Hana met him in the command bunker. She looked older, harder. War did that to people, but her eyes were still sharp, still calculating. Admiral Kang wants me to what? She asked after Won explained the mission. Lead a strike force to the Threshold Station, the Collective's main military base in this sector. Destroy it before they can launch their revenge fleet. Hana was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. When do we leave? Major Cho helped select 50 of the best soldiers to go with her. Private Jun Lee was among them. He had fought in every battle since that first day in the Capitol building. He was not a private anymore, but Hana still called him that. It was a term of affection now, a reminder of where they had started. Before they left, Hana stood with Major Cho looking at the scarred surface of New Seoul through a monitor. We will hold here, Cho said. Keep fighting. Make them bleed for every meter of ground. I know you will, Hana replied. When we come back, we will come back with enough ships to drive them off this world completely. Back at Earth, the work was progressing faster than anyone had expected. Humans were good at working under pressure. The captured alien ships were being transformed. Human controls replaced alien interfaces. Weapons were recalibrated. Engines were optimized. When Hana arrived, Admiral Kang showed her the fleet. 11 alien warships modified for human crews, plus the Indomitable. Against the Threshold Station's defenses, it is still not enough. But it is what we have. Hana walked around one of the ships studying it. Then we do not fight them the way they expect. We use human tactics in alien ships. Hit and run. Close combat. Chaos and unpredictability. Everything they are not prepared for. She turned to the assembled crew. Who here has combat experience? Every hand went up. They had all fought in the Battle of Earth. They had all seen friends die. They all knew what was at stake. Good, Hana said. Because where we are going, experience is the only thing that will keep you alive. For the next 3 days, Hana drilled them relentlessly. She taught them alien ship combat tactics, boarding procedures, and emergency protocols. Captain Yuri Nam, a Special Forces operator, trained teams in zero-gravity assault techniques. Engineer Song taught everyone how to sabotage alien systems quickly. During breaks, they intercepted alien communications. The Collective was in chaos. The Council had declared humanity a terminal threat. Ships were being recalled from across their territory. An armada was being assembled unlike anything seen in 20,000 years. But it would take time to gather such a force. 2 weeks, maybe 3. That was humanity's window. On the day of departure, Secretary General Martinez came to see them off. She stood before the assembled crews, thousands of people who would crew the ships. You are going into enemy territory, she said. Outnumbered and alone. Some of you will not come back, but if you succeed, you will give humanity a chance. A chance to survive. A chance to prove that we deserve our place among the stars. She paused, looking at each of them. The aliens chose to make this a war of extermination. They will learn that was their mistake. Go, fight, and come home victorious. The fleet launched from Earth's orbit in perfect formation. 12 ships carrying humanity's hope into the darkness of space. They engaged their faster-than-light drives and jumped, disappearing in flashes of blue light. The journey to Threshold Station would take 3 days. During that time, the training continued. Simulations were run constantly. Every possible scenario was practiced. Hana spent hours studying the station's layout, memorizing every corridor, every weak point. This was not just about destroying a base. This was about showing the collective that humanity could strike back, that they were not prey. On the 3rd day, they dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Threshold system. What they saw made everyone's blood run cold. Threshold Station was there, massive and heavily defended as expected, but it was not alone. Docked at the station was a diplomatic convoy. 6 ships representing different alien species, all gathered for some kind of meeting. Admiral Kang studied the readings. One of those ships stands out. Heavier shields, better engines. That is a council representative's ship. Dr. Park, who had come along as an advisor, confirmed it. If we could capture that ship, we would gain access to council-level intelligence, strategic information, maybe even the location of the council homeworld. Hana looked at the tactical display. The station's defenses were formidable. Adding the diplomatic escort fleet made the mission exponentially more dangerous. But the prize was too valuable to pass up. She turned to Admiral Kang. We came here to hurt them. This is our chance to do more than that. This is our chance to learn their secrets. Admiral Kang was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. We go for it. Lieutenant Kim, how do we take a heavily defended station and capture a council ship without getting killed? Hana smiled. We lie. The plan came together quickly. They would use their captured ships and stolen codes to approach as a returning collective fleet. By the time the aliens realized these ships were crewed by humans, it would be too late. It was risky. It was desperate. It was exactly the kind of plan that might work. The fleet began its approach to Threshold Station. On the bridge of her command ship, Hana watched the distance close. In a few hours, they would either capture one of the collective's most important bases, or they would all die trying. But they were human. And humans had learned one thing from this war. When the odds are impossible, attack anyway. The bunker shook again. Pieces of concrete fell from the ceiling. Hana caught one and looked at it. They were 3 kilometers underground, and still they could feel the bombardment. The alien weapons were powerful. She walked through the bunker corridors. People were everywhere, thousands of them. They had fled from the surface when the attack started. Children were crying. Adults stared at screens showing the destruction above. New Seoul's beautiful cities were burning. In the command center, she found Major Sung Cho. He was in charge of all military forces now. The governor had given him emergency powers. He stood in front of a large display showing red markers all over the map. How bad is it? Hana asked. Major Cho did not look away from the screen. 7 cities destroyed completely. 12 more heavily damaged. We estimate 2 million dead. His voice was flat, emotionless, but his hands were shaking. They are preparing to land ground troops. We can fight them, Hana said. Major Cho finally looked at her. Did you see what you did up there? In the Capitol building? Yes, sir. I watched the security footage. You took down 4 armed aliens in 3 seconds with your bare hands. How Hana thought about it. She replayed the fight in her mind. The aliens had been slow. Their movements were stiff. When she hit them, their bones broke easily. They are weak, sir. Physically weak. They rely on their technology, their shields and weapons. But take those away and they cannot fight hand to hand. A woman's voice spoke from behind them. That is because they evolved on different worlds. They turned. Engineer Mina Song walked into the command center carrying a strange piece of equipment. It was alien technology, partly melted but still glowing faintly. I found this in the wreckage of an alien shuttle that crashed. She explained. I have been studying it. Their technology is amazing, yes, but it tells me something important about them. She set the device on a table and pulled up a holographic display. It showed information about the alien ships and equipment. Look at this. All their equipment is designed for low gravity. Their atmospheric processors are built for thin air. Their temperature controls are set for cold environments. She looked at them with excitement. Do you understand what this means? Major Cho leaned forward. Explain it simply. Earth is a death world, Mina said. Our gravity is strong. Our air is thick and rich with oxygen. Our climate is harsh. Humans evolved to survive in one of the most difficult environments in the galaxy. These aliens evolved on easy worlds. They are like those plants, delicate. Hana felt something spark in her mind. An idea. What about their neural implants? She asked. I saw them all wearing devices on their heads. Mina smiled. Exactly. Those implants connect them to their technology. It makes them efficient, but it is also a weakness. I tested one. A strong electromagnetic pulse will fry the implants. The aliens will be cut off from their ships, their weapons, everything. Can we generate such a pulse? Major Cho asked. Yes, we have the equipment. It will not affect humans much. We might get headaches, but the aliens, it will cripple them. The door opened. Dr. Park entered, still carrying his tablet. He looked like he had not slept. I have translated more of their data, he said. It is worse than we thought. The collective has been doing this for 50,000 years. They find new species and give them a choice. Serve or die. Those who serve are kept primitive, never allowed to develop advanced technology. Those who refuse are exterminated. How many species have they killed? Hana asked quietly. 347. They have detailed records of every extinction. The room was silent. 347 civilizations destroyed. Billions of lives ended. There is something else, Dr. Park continued. One of those extinct species came from a world similar to Earth. High gravity, oxygen-rich atmosphere. They were physically strong like us. It took the collective 20 years and billions of casualties to destroy them. He paused. The collective has been looking for worlds like Earth ever since. They are terrified of species like us. Good, Major Cho said. They should be terrified. Lieutenant Kim, I want you to start training volunteers. Teach them what you did. Show them how to fight these aliens in close combat. Hana saluted. Yes, sir. Over the next 2 days, Hana worked with 50 volunteers. She taught them everything. The aliens' weak points, how to break their formation, how to use their own weapons against them. The volunteers learned fast. Fear was a good teacher. On the 3rd day, Major Cho called a meeting. Everyone was there. Military commanders, civilian leaders, engineers, doctors. He stood in front of them with a grim expression. We have a decision to make, he said. Captain Tae Wan has volunteered to take our last armed ship and make a run to Earth. He will warn them about the invasion fleet, but he will have to break through the alien blockade. The chances of survival are very low. Captain Wan stood up. He was a pilot, older than most of them, with gray hair and steady eyes. Someone has to warn Earth, he said simply. If I die doing it, that is acceptable. But I will get the message through. Major Cho nodded slowly. You leave in 1 hour. We will create a distraction. Lieutenant Kim, take your team and hit the alien ground forces in Sector 7. Make them think we are attempting a breakout. That should draw their attention from the spaceport. Hana felt her heart beat faster. This would be the first real test of their new tactics. They moved through the underground tunnels toward the surface. 50 soldiers, all volunteers, all trained in the new fighting style. They carried both human weapons and captured alien guns. Mina had also given them small EMP devices. Private Jun Lee walked beside Hana. He was young, only 22, but he had proven himself in the Capitol building. He was not afraid anymore. Now he was angry. Do you think Captain Wan will make it? He asked. Hana checked her weapon. He will make it. He is a good pilot, and he is fighting for every human alive. That kind of determination? The aliens cannot stop it. They reached an exit tunnel. Hana opened the heavy door carefully. Above them was what remained of New Seoul's industrial district. Ruins of buildings stretched in every direction, and between the ruins, alien soldiers patrolled. There were about 30 aliens in the immediate area. They moved in tight formation, weapons ready, but they looked nervous. They kept scanning the ruins as if they expected an attack from every shadow. They are scared, June whispered. Look at them. They are jumpy. He was right. The aliens had never fought an enemy who could hide in ruins, who could strike from close range, who did not fear their superior weapons. Hana signaled her team. They moved out silently, spreading through the ruins. Each soldier found a position with good cover and clear sight lines. When everyone was ready, Hana raised her hand. Then she activated the EMP device. The pulse was invisible, but its effects were immediate. The aliens stumbled. Their weapons went dead. The implants on their heads sparked and smoked. Several aliens collapsed, screaming. Now, Hana shouted. The humans attacked from every direction. It was not a fair fight. The aliens, cut off from their technology, could barely defend themselves. Some tried to fight hand to hand, but they were too weak, too slow. Within minutes, it was over. Hana stood among the fallen aliens, breathing hard. Not from exertion, but from adrenaline. They had won. A small victory, but a victory nonetheless. Her radio crackled. Major Cho's voice came through. Captain 1 is launched. The aliens are pursuing, but he is faster. He will make it. Hana allowed herself a small smile. Earth would be warned. And here on New Sol, humanity had learned something important. The aliens were not invincible. They could be beaten, but the war was just beginning. The ships came without warning. One moment, the sky above New Sol was clear and blue. The next moment, massive shadows blocked out the sun. Lieutenant Hana Kim stood in the military parade ground, her hand frozen halfway to her forehead in salute. Above her, alien warships hung in the air like dark mountains. She had never seen anything like them. The ships were huge, bigger than the tallest buildings in the city. Their surfaces were smooth and black, reflecting no light. They made no sound. Hana felt her heart beating fast in her chest. Around her, the other soldiers stood frozen, staring up at the impossible sight. New Sol was a peaceful colony world. 8 million people lived here, farming and building a new life far from Earth. They had defenses, but nothing that could stand against ships like these. Hana knew this instantly. Everyone knew it. "All units stand ready," her commanding officer said through the radio. His voice was calm, but Hana could hear the fear underneath. "We have received a communication. They want to meet." 3 days later, Hana stood in the grand dome of New Sol's Capitol building. She was part of the honor guard. 20 soldiers in dress uniforms lined up along the walls. In the center of the room, Governor Park and his advisors waited. Among them was Dr. Day Park, the colony's chief scientist. He had been trying to translate the alien messages. The aliens entered through the main doors. Hana had to force herself not to stare. They walked on 2 legs like humans, but that was where the similarity ended. Their skin looked like dark green scales. Their eyes were yellow with black slits. They were taller than any human, maybe 7 feet, but they looked thin and weak. Their movements were slow and careful. The leader stepped forward. He wore a long robe covered in symbols that glowed faintly. When he spoke, a device on his chest translated his words into human language. "I am Commander Tovan of the Galactic Collective," the alien said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "We represent 12 species who rule this part of space. We have come to bring you into our civilization." Governor Park smiled and stepped forward. "We are honored. Humanity has always hoped to meet other intelligent life. We welcome friendship." Hana noticed something wrong. The way Commander Tovan moved, the way he looked at the humans. It reminded her of how people looked at insects. She glanced at Dr. Park and saw that he had noticed it too. His smile did not reach his eyes. The meeting continued for hours. The aliens spoke about their collective, about the great benefits of joining. They showed videos of beautiful cities and advanced technology, but they never quite answered direct questions. They never explained what joining would actually mean. As the sun began to set, Commander Tovan raised his hand. The pleasant expression disappeared from his face. "Enough talk," he said. "Here is the truth. You will surrender to the collective. You will become servants. Your technology will be restricted. Your reproduction will be controlled. You will work for us, and in return we will allow you to live." The room went silent. Governor Park's face turned white. Dr. Park stepped forward. "That is not acceptable," he said quietly. "We are a free people." Commander Tovan laughed. It was a horrible sound. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. If you refuse, we will destroy every city on this world. Then we will go to your home planet Earth and do the same. We have eliminated 347 species who refuse to serve. You will be the 348th. Hana felt her blood turn cold. She looked at the other guards. Private Jun Lee, standing beside her, had his hand moving slowly toward his weapon. She caught his eye and shook her head slightly. Not yet. She noticed something else. The aliens had positioned themselves near all the exits. More aliens were entering the room, dressed in armor and carrying weapons. This had been planned. They had never intended to negotiate. Hana's hand moved to the small weapon on her belt. It was barely a movement, just her fingers touching the grip. But Commander Tovan saw it, his yellow eyes fixed on her. That one, he said, pointing at Hana. She is thinking of resisting. Disarm her! 4 alien soldiers moved toward her. They were carrying energy weapons that glowed blue. They moved slowly, confidently. They thought this would be easy. Hana looked at them. Then she slowly raised her hands above her head as if surrendering. The aliens relaxed slightly. One of them reached for her weapon. "That is your fatal error," Hana said quietly. She moved. Years of training took over. Her hand snapped down, grabbing the closest alien's weapon arm. She twisted hard. The alien was strong, but his bones were light, designed for a world with less gravity. The arm broke with a crack. She took his weapon before he could scream. The second alien fired, but Hana was already moving. The energy blast hit the wall behind her. She rolled forward, came up inside his reach, and drove her elbow into what she hoped was his throat. The alien made a choking sound and fell. The third alien was faster. He got his weapon aimed at her. Hana fired first. The blue energy bolt hit him center mass. He dropped. The fourth alien fired wildly. Hana shot him twice. He fell backward. 3 seconds. 4 aliens down. The room exploded into chaos. Commander Tovan screamed orders in his own language. More alien soldiers poured through the doors. The human guards drew their weapons. Governor Park grabbed Dr. Park and pulled him behind a stone pillar. Hana dove behind a decorative fountain as energy blasts filled the air. She looked around quickly, analyzing the situation. 20 human guards against maybe 40 aliens. Bad odds, but not impossible. The aliens had better weapons, but they moved like they had never been in real combat. They shot from exposed positions. They did not take cover properly. "Private Lee," she shouted. "Get the governor to the emergency exit." "Everyone else cover them," the guards responded instantly. They had trained for years, even though no one expected to actually fight. June Lee grabbed Governor Park and started pulling him toward a side door. The other guards laid down covering fire. Hana shot 2 more aliens. She noticed they were wearing energy shields that flickered when hit. The shields stopped a few shots, then failed. The aliens did not seem to know what to do when their shields were gone. They just stood there confused until they were shot. She ran from the fountain to a pillar, then to the exit where June Lee was helping people escape. An alien soldier stepped in front of her. She did not slow down. She hit him with her shoulder, using her full weight. He went down hard. She kept running. Behind her, Commander Tovan was shouting. She heard him say something about orbital bombardment. Her blood went cold. The alien ships could destroy the city from space. "Move! Move!" she screamed at the others. They ran through the corridors of the Capitol building. More aliens appeared, but the humans were faster. The aliens seemed to tire quickly in Earth-normal gravity. They reached an elevator that went down to the underground bunker system. Hana pushed everyone inside. As the doors closed, she saw Commander Tovan appear at the end of the corridor. He pointed at her, his face twisted with rage. The elevator descended 3 kilometers into the Earth. When it opened, they were in a massive underground complex. It had been built as protection from solar radiation, but now it would protect them from alien weapons. For now. Hana looked at the frightened faces around her. Dr. Park was staring at a tablet he had grabbed, his face pale. "What is it?" she asked. He looked up at her. "I managed to download some of their data during the meeting. Their plans. They are not just attacking New Sol." He paused, his voice shaking. "Earth is next. The main fleet arrives at our homeworld in 72 hours. Above them, the bombardment began. The ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Hana looked at her hands. They were steady. She felt calm even though she knew that everything had just changed. Humanity had just met alien life, and now they were fighting for survival. Lieutenant Su Huang stared at her screen in disbelief. She was working the night shift at Earth Space Defense Headquarters in Geneva. Usually these shifts were boring. She monitored satellites, tracked space debris, and drank too much coffee. Nothing ever happened until tonight. The signal had come from the edge of the solar system. At first she thought it was a malfunction, but the computer confirmed it. A ship was approaching at incredible speed, broadcasting an emergency code that had not been used in 20 years. "Commander," she called out, "I have an unknown vessel requesting immediate docking clearance. They say they are from New Sol." Her commander, a tired man named Roberts, walked over. He looked at the screen and his face went pale. "Get Admiral Kang on the line now." 30 minutes later, Captain Wan's battered ship docked at Earth's main orbital station. Medical teams rushed aboard. They found Wan barely conscious in the pilot's seat. His ship had been hit multiple times by energy weapons. That he had made it at all was a miracle, But before the medics could take him, Juan grabbed the nearest person's arm. His voice was weak but urgent. "Admiral Kang. I need to speak to Admiral Kang, before it is too late." Admiral Yuna Kang was already on her way. She was the commander of Earth's entire space defense force. At 52 years old, she had fought in the Mars Independence War and helped design Earth's defense grid. She had seen combat, but nothing had prepared her for what she was about to hear. She arrived at the medical bay to find Juan sitting up in bed, refusing treatment until he had delivered his message. He handed her a data chip. "It is all there," he said. "Everything we learned. The attack on New Sol, the alien collective, their technology, their weaknesses." He paused, catching his breath. "And their plans for Earth. Admiral, they are coming. 200 warships. They will be here in less than 12 hours. Admiral Kang felt ice in her veins. 200 warships. Earth had 30 orbital platforms and 12 patrol cruisers. Against 200 alien ships with superior technology, they had no chance. Unless, she looked at the data chip. "What weaknesses?" One smiled despite his pain. "Watch the combat footage. Watch what Lieutenant Kim did. The aliens are not prepared for us, Admiral. They think we are weak. That is their mistake." 2 hours later, every military commander on Earth was gathered in the war room. Admiral Kang stood at the front, running the footage from New Sol. They watched Hana Kim disarm 4 alien soldiers in seconds. They watched human forces use EMP weapons to devastating effect. They studied the technical analysis that Engineer Song had provided. General Bo Choi, the head of ground forces, was the first to speak. "So they are physically weak. Their technology is their strength, but also their weakness. They have never fought an enemy in close combat." He leaned forward. "We can use this." "How?" asked another general. "They will attack from orbit. We cannot get close to them." Admiral Kang smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "We make them come to us, into our atmosphere, where our advantages are greatest." She pulled up a tactical display. It showed Earth's atmosphere divided into zones. "Look at the data Song provided. The alien shields are less effective in dense atmosphere. The thick air interferes with their energy weapons. And most importantly, their crews tire quickly in our gravity and oxygen levels." General Choi nodded slowly. "You want to lure them into an atmospheric battle. Use our aircraft, which are designed for these conditions." "Exactly. We use our orbital platforms as bait. Make it look like that is our main defense. When they come to destroy the platforms, our cruisers retreat into the atmosphere, acting like they are fleeing in panic. The aliens will pursue. And then," she pressed a button. The display filled with thousands of red dots. "Then we hit them with everything we have. Every combat aircraft on Earth, every modified civilian ship, thousands of vessels against 200. They cannot target us all fast enough." The room was silent as the commanders absorbed the plan. It was desperate. It was risky. But it might work. "What about civilian casualties?" someone asked quietly. Admiral Kang's expression hardened. "We evacuate everyone we can from the predicted combat zones. But we cannot save everyone. If we fail, everyone dies. All 12 billion people on Earth, plus every human in the colonies. The aliens have made their intentions clear. This is a war of extermination." She looked around the room. "We have 10 hours to prepare. Get every pilot in the air, arm every ship, call up the reserves, and someone get me the Secretary General. The people of Earth need to know what is coming." Secretary General Rosa Martinez addressed the world from the UN building. She did not sugarcoat the message. Humanity had met alien life, and that life wanted to destroy them. The entire planet watched in shock and fear, but something else happened too. Something the aliens had not expected. Humanity united. Within an hour of the announcement, millions of people were volunteering for military service. Retired pilots came out of retirement. Engineers offered to modify civilian ships. Factory workers began producing weapons around the clock. Nations that had been enemies for decades put aside their differences. The survival instinct had kicked in. Every human being understood that this was not about borders or politics. This was about whether the human species would continue to exist. In Japan, fighter pilots were scrambling to their aircraft. In Russia, missile batteries were being activated. In Brazil, civilian ships were being hastily equipped with weapons. Across Africa, soldiers were training in the tactics that Hana Kim had developed. In North America, the powerful railguns that had seemed obsolete were being brought back online. Admiral Kang watched it all from her command center aboard the battle carrier Indomitable. The ship was Earth's largest and most powerful vessel. She had named it herself years ago, when she believed humanity's greatest challenges would come from within. Now she was glad she had chosen that name. Indomitable. Impossible to defeat or discourage. That was what humanity needed to be. Lieutenant Huang appeared at her side. "Admiral, I have another transmission from New Seoul. It is Lieutenant Kim." Admiral Kang took the communication. Hana's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but determined. "Admiral Kang, I am glad Captain Wan made it. I need to tell you something we just discovered. The alien commander here, Tovan, received new orders. The Collective Council is meeting in 2 days to authorize something called the Total Extermination Protocol." "What does that mean?" Admiral Kang asked, though she suspected she already knew. "It means if Earth falls, every human colony will be destroyed. 23 worlds, 40 million people. They will hunt down every human in the galaxy and kill us all." Hana paused. "This is not just a battle for Earth. This is a battle for the survival of our entire species." Admiral Kang felt the weight of those words. 40 million people depending on what happened in the next few hours. "Then we will not fail," she said simply. "Humanity did not crawl out of caves and cross oceans and reach for the stars just to be exterminated by aliens who think we are weak. We will show them what happens when you threaten Earth." She cut the transmission and turned to her bridge crew. "How long until they arrive?" 6 hours, Admiral." Admiral Kang looked out at Earth below. The beautiful blue planet where humanity had been born, where they had fought and loved and built civilizations, where they had learned to dream of the stars. The aliens were coming to destroy it. They thought it would be easy. They were wrong. "All units," she said into the fleet-wide channel, "this is Admiral Kang. In 6 hours we face an enemy that has destroyed hundreds of civilizations. They think we will be just another number on their list. They think we will surrender or die quietly." She paused. "Let us show them why that is the biggest mistake they will ever make. For Earth, for humanity, let us teach these aliens what it means to threaten our home." Across Earth's defenses, thousands of voices responded as one. "For Earth,